Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today we're going to talk about the astrology and Kabbalah of August 2020. I'm going to do this in two separate videos. The first thing we're going to look at is the numerology and how the numerology sits on the tree of life. So I start this this presentation with this picture. There is a sense of, well, first of all, the first thing I feel in this picture is heat. It's very possible I feel heat because it's been so hot. But there's this sense of heat and a little bit of you can't see things clearly here. There's almost too much light to see things clearly. But what you can see is you can see the detail of the grasses here. And this sort of is symbolic of us looking at our own lives in a very sort of detailed manner, okay? While we have this great sort of powerful sun sort of beaming down upon us. And August is going to be a month where where things are illuminated for us, and what we do with that illumination, how we approach it, and how we integrate it into our lives is going to very much be the story of August. So let's start with the numerology of August. So if we look at the monthly vibration, we have an 8 vibration, and 8 is the number of power, authority, giving and receiving. If you put an 8 on its side, we get a infinity symbol. And so within the vibration of 8, we have as you sow, so shall you reap. 8 is a vibration of responsibility. And so when we have 8 as a major vibration, we will see people be held responsible for their actions. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean people are going to go to jail or such? Not necessarily. It means that we'll see it. I think we're going to see a lot of things in August that we might have imagined, but perhaps didn't know the depth that our imaginings could have gone to. And then we have, of course, the 4 universal year. A lot of people are very upset about 2020 for obvious reasons, and certainly for good reasons. But 2020 is really, to a certain extent, a reset year. 4 universal year, 4 is the number of the hard worker, bringing ideas and plans into concrete form. Now, in order to bring ideas and plans into concrete form, there needs to be a space for that. And part of what's happening in this 4 vibration universal year is that space is being made. Space is being made for that. And then if we add these 2 vibrations together, we get our monthly vibration. And the monthly vibration this month is a 12-3 vibration. This is a strong individual principle. It is the end of a cycle. And it is an energy of creative self-expression. All of this information I got from the book Numerology, Spirit Light Vibrations by Jean. We'll talk a little bit more about this. So here we have the 8 card, which is the Strength card in the tarot, and the 4, which is the Emperor. Now, the Strength card is associated with Leo. And of course, we have the Sun in Leo for most of the month of August. We also will have Mercury in Leo at this time, although it's only in Leo for about 2 weeks. Unlike the time it was in Cancer for what seemed an interminable amount of time. Now I have a Cancer. I have Mercury in Cancer, so welcome to my world. But in August, it does shift. Mercury does shift into Leo. And then we have the Emperor card here, which is associated with Aries. And we do have energy in Aries this month. We have Mars in Aries. Mars is very prominent and very powerful in Aries. We also have Eris in Aries. And I believe we have Chiron in Aries. And I believe we have Black Moon Lilith in Aries. So there's a lot of Aryan energy. And of course, Aryan energy is the energy of the warrior. Okay. And so we have to find a way to find balance in this very fiery and very hot month. The Emperor card is about dominion and having dominion over yourself, having control over yourself, not necessarily over other people, although it can manifest in that way as well. And then, of course, the 8 vibration, the Strength card, is a card where we are overcoming our baser energies. We have this woman, and she is holding the lion's mouth. We don't know open or closed, but the lion is licking her. And so the lion symbolizes our lower, baser nature. And this beautiful woman here with her flowers and her lambda over her head, the infinity sign, symbolizes our higher self, our higher mind, our higher spiritual self, and the ability to overcome our baser nature. So this is a time when overcoming your baser nature and taking responsibility for yourself is going to be very, very important this month. When we add, of course, the 2 vibrations together, as I said, we get the 12-3 vibration, which is the Hanged Man. The mantra really for the Hanged Man is the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, we're very familiar with this Hanged Man energy because the year of 2019, the whole year was a Hanged Man year. And it was a lesson in having to bear witness to a lot of things that either we never thought we'd see, or having to look at what was going on from a different perspective. And from my perspective, of course, as a person, as a personality or an ego, things looked very dire as all the things that were important to me were being attacked and destroyed, at least here where I live in this country. And so, but there wasn't much you could do about it. A lot of the stop gaps and the things that we thought could hold this kind of energy back ended up not doing that, in part because here, where I live in the United States, there were people helping. It's like it can't be done by itself, right? You need people to support you when you're destroying things. So if we look at what the Hanged Man means, say we get it in a reading. This is from Pamela Eakin's book, Tarot of the Spirit. And this tarot card is actually a tarot card from the Illuminati deck. It says, it is a time to retreat, withdraw, and surrender to quietude. When the internal waters are stilled, you can see and hear your deep eternal self, which is your own truth. Through meditative contemplation, you will arrive at truth. Your glorious nature is revealed when the clear waters of your mind cease to be disturbed by the rippling thoughts. This is a time of voluntary withdrawal. Enter the world only when you know you have received answers. Do not be pushed or agitated by the whims of others. And I think that's really important because there's going to be a lot of people pushing and agitating this month. Be aware of that. If you can find your sweet spot, if you can find your connection to source, this person hanging upside down with their hands tied behind their back and they're stuck on this tree, they can't really do anything. But what they can do is they can look at the world from a different perspective. And that's really what it's going to take for us to get what is most valuable, from this month of August. And he does have a halo around, or she, we're not sure, right? Has a halo around her head or his head. And that's symbolic of our connection to cosmic consciousness. And so when in doubt, you need to apply yourself to connect with cosmic consciousness, unity consciousness. So if we look at where these 3 vibrations fall on the tree of life, we also can get an idea of how to work with this energy. Okay, so the 8 vibration, which is the monthly vibration, is located right here. This is the strength card. It is the path that connects Hesed to Gebura. Gebura is the Sephiroth of severity, and Hesed is the Sephiroth of mercy. This is destruction, and this is creation. And the strength card sort of holds the center of that between creation and destruction, and does not lose and does not get caught in its lower nature about these things, because if it did, the lion would probably would bite off your hand, right? If you stay higher vibrationally and stay in your spiritual self, you can balance that which must go away or be destroyed, Gebura, with that which needs to be built in Hesed. Okay, this is also associated with metabolism in the human body. This is where the thyroid would be. Okay, this is actually the throat chakra here. And so the thyroid helps us to modulate our emotions and our feelings. Okay, so we need to learn to find modulation in what we are feeling and what we are going through. The 4 vibration, of course, sits right here. Here's the Emperor. It mediates between Hokmah and Tiphereth. Hokmah is the place of wisdom. Tiphereth is the place of beauty. This is associated with the divine masculine. This is associated with the heart. It is in the center. It's connecting the pillar of the past, which is this pillar here, with the pillar of the present moment. And so we're being informed by the past at this time. And so things from the past will be revealed. And then, of course, we have the Hanged Man, which sits right here. And the Hanged Man has his feet in Gebura and his head in Hod. Hod is the Sephiroth associated with Mercury. It's also located in the solar plexus. And Gebura is associated with Mars. So this is Mars, Mercury, okay? And this is an energy where our feet must be in a spiritual place, and our head gets to observe, right? But observe from a different perspective. You're turned upside down. And so you need to look at life from that perspective, from a completely different perspective. So let's talk a little bit about Gebura. That's the red, right? That's the red circle, or Sephiroth. Gebura is the Sephiroth associated with the planet Mars. It is called the Sephiroth of severity. This is the place of instant karma. This is a place where we learn that we need to make adjustments in our lives. All illusions are shattered in Gebura. Here we learn self-correction, and we must work for our own good. We must work for our own good in Gebura. And so you need, to a certain extent, to take care of yourself at this time. You need to make adjustments in the way that you live your life. You need to be aware that every action that you take has an equal and opposite reaction. And that if you do something that you know is wrong, there will be consequence to that. So we need to be very upright at this time. Gebura is the Sephiroth associated with the spiritual warrior. the spiritual warriors. So we're all being required at this time to be spiritual warriors. And then we have Hod. Hod is the Sephiroth associated with Mercury, called the Sephiroth of splendor. That's what Hod means, splendor. This is the place of thoughts. This Sephiroth rules the brain. This is where we learn to be intellectually independent. Intellectually independent. So this is not going with the herd. This is discerning for yourself. Mercury is a planet that helps us discern. This is where we take responsibility for our own thoughts. And so you have to think for yourself in this place. And we know that there are many people who are not thinking for themselves, but they're sort of just picking a thing and going with it because somebody said it, or they're using it. This is a place of intellectual pride, or we could call it thought pride, right? So something that you believe with all, this is it, this is it, that's it. It's just why, because, that kind of stuff doesn't sit well at this time and won't be helpful to you. This is the location of the tree of knowledge from which we can choose to use that knowledge for good or evil. And so we have a choice here. What are we going to use our brains and our knowledge and our intelligence for? Are we going to use it for the good, or are we going to use it for evil intent? Okay. I was watching, what's his name? Excuse me, Lee Harris. Thank you. I was listening to Lee Harris, and I would suggest you watch his video on August. He has great videos. And he talked about August, seeing power grabs in August. And that is really, that is true. And we can see it in this as well, that there can be power, or there will be power grabs. The question is, what side are you going to be on? The side of good or the side of evil? And then in between, the path that connects these two, Sephiroth, of course, is the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man is associated with the Hebrew letter Mayim, meaning water. Its astrological attribution is Neptune. Okay. Its path is the 23rd path, which mediates between Gebura, the great universal destroyer, and Hod, the thinking mind. So during this period of time, we are going to have to destroy perhaps some thoughts and ideas that we had that we realize no longer serve or no longer work. The intelligence is called the stable intelligence. It is the original intellect, the deep mind, which is, was, and ever shall be. So we could call this perhaps the mind of God, Goddess. And the mystery here is in losing yourself, you find yourself. And of course, the self is the lower self, and the self here is the higher self. If we look at how what chakras are activated at this time, we can see that the 8 activates the throat chakra. Okay, this is the strength. This is where strength is. The serpent here is the Hebrew letter associated with that path. We have this path right here, the 4. Now, this connects the 6th eye with the heart. So love and vision. And then this, the actual 12-3 vibration, the Hanged Man, connects Gebura here in the throat chakra with Hod in the solar plexus. Both the throat and the solar plexus are chakras associated with the will. In the throat, we have divine will. In the solar plexus, we have personal will. And so it's really about opening up to the will of spirit and becoming a, a, a conduit for spirit. And it is also this path is completely located in the pillar of severity or the pillar of the future. And so being crystal clear channels for divine will, and perhaps holding judgment from what's good and what's bad in this situation. You know, I guess that we all have the tendency to look at something and say, wow, that's great, or that's terrible. And you know, it's true, but there's a deeper meaning to all of this. And if we can open ourselves up to spirit and go with the flow of spirit, spirit doesn't just take things away and not bring in the new. And so just like we did in 2019, we kind of have to hold the space, and we have to be in a place of acceptance, and we have to be in a place of, you know, seeing what we can fix and do, and doing it, and letting go of that which we have no control over. And then of course the wisdom to know the difference. But this August, because it sits, the August vibration to 2020 sits in the pillar of the future. We are actually creating the future in August. Okay. So we have the throat chakra, right where Gabura is. The Sanskrit word is Vishuddha, meaning purification. The element is sound. So the words that we speak, the things, the way we intone, right, is very powerful. This is how we co-create with the divine. We speak it into being. I am a co-creator. I am healed. I am love. I am a spiritual warrior. All those things hold power. If you hear yourself saying, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I can't take this anymore, it becomes your reality because you're creating it yourself. You're creating it with the vibration of your throat. And spirit is right there to help you create it. So we have to be very careful about the words that we use, especially in Gabura, connected to Gabura, because the words we use have force behind them, Mars. Okay. The goals here in this chakra are self-expression, harmony with others, creativity, and good communication. Remember, the North Node is now in Gemini, and so we need to talk to one another. And the right is the right to speak. And here we have the solar plexus chakra. This is Manipura. Manipura means lustrous gem. The element here is fire. The main issue is power and energy. Do you feel empowered? Do you feel disempowered? Do you have energy? Do you have low energy? If you find yourself with low energy, which is easy enough to do because there's a lot going on, then you need to meditate. You need to hang yourself upside down and look at life from a different perspective. You need to calm the thoughts and connect with the deepest mind, or the mind of God, Goddess. This is the place of goals and vitality, strength of will, sense of purpose, and effectiveness. Do you know what your purpose is? You will know if you listen, because spirit will tell you. What do I do? Oh my God, look what's going on. Where are we going? Where are we going? We're going where we put our mind and our heart to go. Where we put our mind and our heart to go. And the right here is the right to act, the right to be the captain of your own ship. It's about autonomy. But it's autonomy not just in the I'm going to get what I want, do what I want, nobody can tell me I can't. That's sort of a negative aspect of this chakra. In fact, Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has his soul in this chakra. And so he's very good at getting what he wants. But his soul is the Tower card. And so if you put up facades, you will be destroyed. Your facades get destroyed. And so he purports himself to be this very rich captain of industry who's in control and knows exactly what to do, and he's the only one who can fix anything. And we're seeing that facade crumble because he is not connected to the spirit here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come back in part 2, and we're going to talk about the astrology of August. Take care.